What is up, everybody? This is Brian with the Mustard and Mayo, and while it's raining outside, I figured I would take a few minutes, since it's been a while since I put a video up on the YouTube channel, just to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on with the fleet, as there's actually quite a few things going on that I haven't had a chance to really talk about, so let me just put it all in one video. Alright, first off, here we are inside the garage, and the biggest thing to announce is the fleet has grown. So this is the newest addition to the fleet. This is a 2000 Celica GT-S with a 6-speed manual. This is something that I had actually traded in at the dealership that I work at, and a friend of mine days before had told me he was, thought it'd be cool to find one of these Celicas, and so naturally he bought it, had it for a few months, and then wasn't able to do much with it. So he has actually sold it to me. So now I am the owner of this, and I am super proud to have it. This has kind of become the new daily driver, even though I already have a daily driver. This is the new daily. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of justifications for why I have so much crap here. But the really cool thing about this car is the previous owner was practically the first owner. I believe it was bought at the dealership that I work at brand new. And you can see there is the 6-speed manual. I do have everything apart right now because I am waiting on some parts to come in for a new stereo to go in. This one has a CD player and the cassette deck, but I'm wanting Apple CarPlay. So I've got a Toto unit, which is the same brand I've used when I had my G35 before. This one's supposed to have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. So I'm excited about that. Although fun thing is, I did find out that this apparently has the premium stereo. I guess there's 6 speakers in this thing, which makes sense because there's 2 in the doors. There's the, well, I guess 4 in the doors because you've got the tweeters, and then you've got the bigger 6x9s or whatever they are in the back here. But there's an amplifier up there, so the wiring harness that I got is wrong. So tomorrow I should have all the parts to put all this back together with the new wiring harness to bypass the factory amplifier. That way I can put all this back together. But as you can see, this has the leather package. Again, manual transmission, of course, 6-speed. And everything works on this. When I sold it to my friend, it needed a new body control module because we noticed I guess the previous owner had brought it into the dealership for some work and had noticed that the horn wasn't working and a couple other minor things. So she got the horn working to pass inspection. They kind of just wired it up, I guess. But when we got it, we noticed that the door locks weren't working. I think there was a couple other minor things, but mainly the door locks were the fuel gauge. The fuel gauge on the dashboard wasn't reading. So did some quick research, found out that a body control module over there between the center console and the dashboard tends to go bad in these. So we just found one on eBay for like 35 bucks, plugged in, and everything worked. The fuel gauge worked. The door locks worked, which are kind of like a Jeep. They're over here in the center, as you can kind of see here, and the window switches there. But once we got that working, that also gave me the opportunity to go ahead and get a key fob for this car because this has power locks and everything. It has a factory alarm system, as you can kind of see right up in here on the dashboard. So I got the matching key fob, which took some pain and misery because there's lots of different key fobs you can buy for these. So I found the right one, so now everything's working perfectly on this. So I'm looking forward to getting the new stereo in. The other, I wouldn't call it big news, is that the MR2 is still up and running. It's doing great. I've actually been moving it around in the garage. I've not been driving it a whole lot because I've been going through the process of getting this thing ready to sell. I do have it listed on Facebook Marketplace. It's been there for probably a month or two now. And, I have had a little bit of interest, but no serious buyers. I'm waiting to throw it on Bring a Trailer and maybe even Cars and Bids. Or I may even start with eBay first just to kind of stick with a tried and true platform, but I'll probably do, I don't know, I'm all over the board on this, as you can tell. But some of the parts I'm still waiting to put on before I fully list it is this is brand new C-pillar trim, the gasket for it, all the hardware for it, everything is here so that I can replace what broke a long time ago. You can see this is the hardware that I'll be replacing to make sure I have enough of. So I'm wanting to get that done. I'm wanting to make a coilover adjustment up here because I am getting under hard cornering a little bit of rubbing on the fender. I had to do this once before on the driver's side, so I just need to make the adjustment here. And just a couple other things. I'm wanting to get rid of the kind of mismatched window tint that's on this and scrape this off and just basically finish cleaning it up. I'm debating on taking out the Cobra seat that I have in here and putting back the factory seat because I know some people care about that more than they do the bucket. Not everybody's going to fit in it like I do, so I'm probably going to take that out. So just doing a further cleanup to get this thing ready to go. It cranks up and runs great though. Other stuff is the Previa is doing great. I did do a big service. Well, I wouldn't call it a huge service, but I had a fuel pump die on the Honda Shadow Sabre. Apparently there is a feeder pump way up in there behind the battery tray and everything, and those can apparently go out. I didn't even know this bike had that. So that happened, and then at the same time, when I got the bike towed back here to the house, when we were getting it off, one of the rear pads, actually I think I finally threw it away, but one of the rear pads had actually come apart. The pad material had come off the metal part. I guess it was the original pads of the bike, and they had just over time separated. So now I have brand new pads all the way around. And then when I was there, I decided I'd go ahead and replace all the spark plugs. I've got new spark plugs in it, new fuel pump, new pads, front and rear. And this thing runs great, cranks up perfectly as well. BMW hasn't really had much change with it, other than the fact that I've just been driving it and loving the shit out of it. The wife's G37 is doing well also. I'd never put it on video, but we did do wheel spacers. We also did a little bit of a chrome delete with some carbon fiber vinyl wrap around the windows, as well as a carbon fiber spoiler back here. So just minor stuff. We're going to eventually get some probably better tires and stuff for this. The big piece of news, though, as you can hear, is the Rustelica is alive. The rain is the reason why I decided to go ahead and stop and take a video, just kind of update things. But we had to move into the new house, which, welcome, there's the garage. And I did not have this ready to go. It had a really badly leaking power steering pump. I thought it was just the rack, which that was leaking, but the pump was leaking like crazy, and that had killed the alternator yet again on this car. So I have finally got around to getting all the parts and putting it on. So now we have a brand new alternator, brand new power steering pump, and I got some of the O-rings and stuff today, so everything can be sealed up. But the only other thing that I've got to fix on this before I feel comfortable driving it is apparently something happened with the wiring along the way, and my headlights are currently not working. I've got to figure out, starting from here, moving backwards, where power is at. That's actually what I was planning to do before this all happened. So I've got this out here running just to kind of charge the battery. I've already got new tires put on this. I've got Hankook RS4s. So I'm hoping once I get some of this stuff sorted out, I'll get it officially road legal and actually be able to start driving this thing. I'm actually going to probably redo some of the paint on this as it's not aged so well. I need to replace my weather stripping, also known as duct tape, back here, because that's going to leak like crazy in the hatchback if it isn't already. So just some little cleanup on this, and this should hopefully be out to some of the car meets and drives. Again, Previa doing great. It's always doing great. I think I put a battery in it this winter, and that's been it. But the other big news, and it's the sad news, because I never seem to have enough projects on hand, is currently my 4Runner is inoperable. We went to Windrock. This is my first time being out there, and their moderate trails are a lot more moderate than the trails we have in North Carolina.
Oh, well then. Oh, okay. Oh. We're sideways.
We're on the rock slide. Thank God for those things.
Well,
God, I can imagine coming up this, how difficult that would be.
I guess this is what happens when you're literally sideways. Oh, sure. Okay.
I need to probably. I was like, is it better in the rut? I don't know, because then I got to get up that big ass hump right there.
Yeah, maybe.
And we were going down a pretty steep and slick section. I wouldn't call it technical, but we just got sideways on this trail, hit the wrong angle, ended up rolling on the passenger side fender here. And surprisingly, you can see there's a little bit of damage on the fender here, a little bit of scratching where I adjusted the paint over the chrome. You can see there's a dent right there. But the passenger door is in good shape, both of them here. Somehow all of the glass held, and that's pretty huge, because this is where a lot of the weight was. It was sitting right here on the back, and it's bizarre that there it is right there, millimeters away from the glass, sitting on that side for 2 hours, and somehow didn't shatter that. But the good news is the bumper did well. The new frame sliders that I had fabbed up recently, shout out JC Customs, did a great job here. These were phenomenal for getting us back on our tires again and getting us back home. But unfortunately, when this thing sat nose down for over 2 hours while we were trying to get recovered and get some help and get cell phone signal, all the oil ended up in the top half of the engine. And even though we pulled the spark plugs and everything, we still hydrolocked the engine with oil, and it will not turn over. It's locked up at this point. So 3 liters dead, unfortunately. I was going to replace this engine. I just wasn't planning on doing it so quickly. So now I'm going to have to start budgeting for a 3.4 swap. But I'm currently in the process of going through everything else that's out here. I want to get this back on the road. I want to sell the MR2. I think I want to sell it. I don't know. We'll see what I want to do. And then there's a couple just small things I want to do with the Celica. And then hopefully by the end of the summer, I'm going to have the 3.4 swap so I can get all the work done on this. Got to obviously pull up my fender there a little bit. So yeah, lots of things going on with the fleet. So a few things to kind of look forward to once I do get a chance to actually sit down and actually make real video content is once I get the stereo done in this and have some time in the Celica, I do want to actually spend some time with this because I was not expecting to really enjoy having a front wheel drive car in the fleet. If you notice, literally nothing except for the Celica is front wheel drive. Even the Previa is rear wheel drive. So I have not had a front wheel drive car at all in like 3 or 4 or more years. So I am pretty happy with this car. It actually drives really well. So I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of a review and I don't know, whatever I'm going to do with that car. Super fun. And then I probably will do a kind of like a walk around tour of the MR2 once I get it ready to officially list and send home, you know, on one of those main websites to send home to its new owner. So look for content on that hopefully in the next, I don't want to say a few days, probably a few weeks at the rate that I upload videos. So there's going to be some interesting stuff there. And then of course, sometime over the next few months is when the 3.4 swap is going to happen on the 4Runner. So a lot to keep me busy, but the good news is I've got the motorcycle, now the Celica, well, the Rustelica, and the new black Celica that I can enjoy all summer long. And I can still take the MR2 out as well. I just don't want to beat on it when I'm trying to sell it. So I've got enough to kind of keep me busy, to have fun this summer, and then definitely enough projects to keep me going. And thankfully I have this fantastic new garage that I can work in where I can be out of the rain, which is back on, and out of the elements, and have my stereo and beer over there in the fridge and everything. So yeah, thanks for watching this update video. As always, have a great day.